Live in Homer, Alaska, I'm Chris Story, and this is On Top of the World Radio. Today, we are Americans. First and foremost, we are Americans. Republican, Democrat, or somewhere in between, left wing or right wing, the eagle can't fly straight without the other. Stand for the anthem, kneel for a fallen brother, because we are Americans. Today, we remember. America's been in a near state of war since September 1st, 2001. In many ways, and to thousands of soldiers, it's been constant war. Life for Americans changed on 9/11, 2001, yet we remain strong, determined, free, open, and on guard. A house divided against itself cannot stand. 1858, June 16th. Abe Lincoln's words remain true to this day, as true as they ever were. America divided against itself cannot stand. Together, we can stand against any enemy. Elbert Hubbard wrote, "Never explain. Your friends do not need it. Your enemies will not believe you anyhow. Rather, live free. Live the life you were born to live. Love your neighbors. Argue with your friends and neighbors, knowing on this we shall put our shoulders together and stand for America. Through right action, America will survive. Through divine principles granted by God and protected by the Constitution, we shall prevail. Not over the world, rather we shall prevail over self-destruction, because we are Americans. We are the people. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America."
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's okay to be sad today. It's okay to go on with life today. Everybody handles grief in a different way. Everybody handles the history that was made on September 11th, 2001 differently. Depends on where you were, who you are, and what's going on in your life. I don't expect you and me, I don't expect us to sit here and wallow and just begrudge our own happiness for something else that's happening, dreams that have come true, things we've accomplished, things we've acquired, things that we've done, places we've gone. I don't expect you to live in regret and or a collected grief. But I do think it's important to remember, and we do remember, and we've not forgotten, on September 11, 2018, 2,996 human beings died. 6,000 injured. 265 were aboard 4 airliners. 2,606 inside the World Trade Center. 125 Americans in the Pentagon. This, the most devastating attack on U.S. soil since December 7th, 1941 at Pearl Harbor. No, we have not forgotten, nor will we forget.
I hear people say we don't need this war, but I say there's some things worth fighting for. What about our freedom and this piece of ground? We didn't get to keep them by backing down. They say we don't realize the mess we're getting in. Before you start your preaching, let me ask you this, my friend. Have you forgotten how it felt that day to see your homeland under fire and her people blown away? Have you forgotten when those towers fell? We had neighbors still inside, going through a living hell. And you say we shouldn't worry about Bin Laden. Have you forgotten?
And I know you haven't forgotten. And on this day, this September 11th, 2018, 17 years to the day, we remember. My question for you, this brought to you by Pat, Kate, and everybody at Blackwater Bend Espresso, a very proud sponsor of this program, and I'm very proud to be partnered with Pat and crew at Blackwater Bend Espresso. Our Alaskan Mind Mender question is, not have you forgotten? I know you haven't. The question is, and I'd love for your sincere participation, just whatever comes to your mind. Text it in, call, leave a voicemail. Where were you when you heard the news about 9/11? When you heard, what were you doing that morning? What were you doing? Where were you? How did you hear about it first? Myself, I'll start us off. By the way, the number is 299-7653 at 299-7653. Text in your answer. I want to give 2 of you great Americans coffee card, Blackwater Bend Espresso. I was, for 7 years, while we were building our pottery business, I was also a janitor at a local hardware store. And so every morning I would get up between 4:30, 5 o'clock, head in and go do the floors. And I remember halfway between our place and the store, listening in disbelief, like, I'm not hearing this correctly. One plane had already hit the first tower. And I was like, no, I'm not hearing this correctly. It was unreal to me. It was just unbelievable. I had no pictures, was listening to the radio, no pictures to accompany the carnage, the horror that was being described, the attack that was being described. It was surreal. It was like something out of a film, something out of a history book. I couldn't believe it. And then I just sat there in the car in front of the store for 35, 40 minutes. Finally, I went in, raced in, turned on the radio. I had to do the floors. I had to go on and do the floors, which seems silly now. But there was nothing I could do. I had to go in and do the floors, did them whilst listening with the radio cranked up. The crew started arriving, everybody just kind of standing there in this dazed confusion. And we just didn't know what to do. It was absolutely a day in history that I'll never forget. In just a moment, we have Today in History, brought to you by the Anchor River Inn. I hope you stick around. David Webb and I will be right back here on Top of the World. You're listening to On Top of the World Radio. I'm Christopher Story, your host for great adventures and all things positive and possible. broadcasting from Homer, Alaska. Mr. David Webb is your engineer and producer all the way back up at the mothership of KPEN FM 102 and KGTL AM and FM. Thank you for joining me here today on this very special inaugural 1 o'clock edition. We'll be here at 1 o'clock from now on Top of the World, 1 o'clock here on KPEN and KGTL. You don't need to be reminded, I know that. But today in history, it's a very special day. It's a very somber day, and then it's also just another day. And that's the hardest part that I have about this, is that I want to remember, I want to think about it, I want to be reverent. At the same time, we're 17 years later. All of us, though, you listening right now to my voice, you were there, you know, you remember. You remember what you were doing. And I think it's important to take some time, and I suggest we do that right now, here together, you and I, right now. We take this time, and we remember, and think about it, and share it. At 299-7653, where were you? I was just talking to David Webb during the commercial break. He and his cohort, then member of the station family, Kelly Levitt, were down at the fishing hole, fishing, and some guy comes out of his car and says, "You guys aren't going to believe what just happened." It is unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Well, Today in History is sponsored, as always, by the wonderful folks at the Anchor River Inn. Jesse Clutson family, great Americans, keeping the light on at the inn in the Anchor Point area for more than 50 years. Online, anchorriverinn.com, and go to their Facebook page for some big announcements just released. Thank you, Jesse Clutson family. You are a great American. I appreciate you, your father, and your family, and everything you've done for the Anchor Point area. Today, again, you need no reminder. This, though, is a grave reminder, powerful reminder of what exactly happened on 9/11. What happened on September 11th, 2001, as told through the crew at Diamond Cuts Films.
It's been a year, Daddy. I really, really miss you. Mommy says you're safe now in a beautiful place called heaven.
Oh, thinking about a younger year.
We had your favorite dinner tonight,
There was only you and me.
and I ate it all
We were
up.
young and wild and free.
Even though I don't like carrots.
Now nothing can take you away from me.
I learned how to swim this summer,
We've been down that road before.
and I could even open my
That's
eyes
over now.
when I'm underwater.
Keep me coming back for more.
Can you see me? I miss you, Daddy.
Baby, you're all that I want. And you're lying here in my arms. I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven.
It's been 5 years, Daddy.
Love is all that I need.
I'm in 5th grade
And I'll
now.
find it there in your heart.
I really like
It
computers,
isn't too hard to see.
but math is hard.
Heaven.
Mommy lets me sleep in one of your t-shirts.
Oh, once in your life you find someone
I think it still smells like you.
who will turn your world around.
I don't need to sleep with the light on
You
anymore.
up when you're feeling down.
I'm trying not to cry, Daddy, but it still hurts.
Now nothing can change what you mean to me.
I really miss you, Daddy.
There's a lot that I could say, but just hold me now.
Can you see me? Can you see me?
'Cause our love
Can you
will
see
light the way.
It's been 10 years, Daddy.
Baby, you're all that I want.
I started high school.
You're lying here in my arms.
I made the honor roll.
Finding it hard to believe.
I hope you're proud of me.
Heaven.
I'm also on the soccer team.
Love is all that I need.
Can you see me on
And
the
I
field?
found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see.
I've started thinking about
We're in
colleges.
heaven.
Do you think I can be a doctor?
Now our dreams are coming true. Through the good times and the bad.
I know you'll be with me when I walk down the aisle.
Standing there by you.
try not to be sad,
Baby, you're all that I want.
but it hurts.
See you lying here in my arms, finding it hard to believe we're in heaven.
I hope you know you're my hero.
Love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven.
I love you so much. Can you see me? Can you see me?
I miss you, Daddy.
I miss you, Daddy.
You're listening to On Top of the World Radio. I'm Christopher Story, your host for great adventures in all things American today and all things human and humane. I got a call. I was hosting a program in Anchorage on KBYR a couple of years ago. Well, it's been about 4 years ago. Gosh, can you believe it's already been 5? Coming up, is it 5? Nevertheless, I was guest hosting for a friend of mine who was on vacation. It happened to be on a September 11th. And we had some remembrances we were playing, and I opened up the phone lines and just said, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be emotional today. And it'd been still yet a dozen years since the attacks. And a woman called in, and she was in tears, and she was really broke up. And in part because people around her were just moving on. People had just, it's a long time ago. It's been over 10 years. And one coworker said something that prompted her call to me. And I think really what got her extremely emotional was this person said, "What didn't affect me because I was in Denver." I was in Denver. And she was angry and sad all at once. And she and I spent about 7 or 8 minutes on the air together. And we ended up, I said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay that they're having that reaction. But it's also okay that you're having your reaction to this. We each were affected. I don't care where you were or what you were doing as an American, it impacted your life from now on. And we had a shared collective consciousness of that day, and yet every 9/11 thereafter we do as well. Her name is Pam Bruno. I've never met Pam, and yet every September 11th we communicate and just say, hey, remember that conversation. And so we have a shared collective consciousness of where we were and what we were doing. And there is no wrong way to respond. There isn't. Where were you? Where were you?
Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Were you in the yard with your wife and children, or working on some stage in L.A.? Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor, or did you just sit down and cry? Did you weep for the children who lost their dear loved ones, pray for the ones who don't know? Did you rejoice for the people who walked from the rubble and sobbed for the ones left below? Did you burst out with pride for the red, white, and blue, and the heroes who died just doing what they do? Did you look up to heaven for some kind of answer, and look at yourself and what really matters? I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, and the greatest is love. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Teaching a class full of innocent children, or driving down some cold interstate. Did you feel guilty cause you're a survivor? In a crowded room, did you feel alone? Did you call up your mother and tell her you loved her? Did you dust off that Bible at home? Did you open your eyes and hope it never happened? Close your eyes and not go to sleep.
You're listening to a very special edition of On Top of the World Radio. 9/11 Remembered. We'll be back with more from On Top of the World. Stick around, please.
Did you lay down at night, think of tomorrow, go out and buy you a gun? Did you turn off that violent old movie you're watching and turn on I Love Lucy reruns? Did you go to a church and hold hands with some strangers, stand in line and give your own blood? Did you just stay home and cling tight to your family? Thank God you had somebody to love. I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran.